experience for all of our folks, for a tremendous experience for me, I know. But thank you to all of you for making it happen, and all of you for taking the time from your own schedule, away from your own families, to do something that is truly changing lives. And you look at these young kids, some as young as 7, and you think, what will they remember of this? And you know that when they're our age and beyond, they'll look back on that week in the mountains and they'll remember it as something very, very special. They got out of the neighborhood, they got an opportunity to breathe clean air at 7,000 feet, to be able to run among the trees, to have fun, to be exposed, to be able to do things that they would never get to do in their own neighborhood. And so hopefully open up their eyes that there's a bigger world out there than the neighborhood they're growing up in. And that opportunity is their oyster, really. It's out there for them if they're willing to work hard, to do the right thing, to treat people with respect that all of you have instilled in them as the core values of being a good person.
The amateur, USA Boxing Amateur does so much for the kids as well. And I've seen how the Olympic teams, and John does that, even the Olympians, they don't get treated the same in boxing as a track athlete or a baseball athlete. Yeah, it's a total different thing. So I figured, let's start helping the amateurs. That's when I spoke with Mr. Suleiman, the president, Jose's brother, and he said, let's do it. They've had amateur tournaments other parts of the world and amateur support, but in the United States it wasn't done yet, and that was his father's dream. Now let him give a little bit on that. So when we came with that idea, he totally supported it. I talked to Officer Williams and Mr. Campbell and Renee from probation, and they said, let's try to make it happen. And that's when we reached out to you in the year, and thank God that you made the decision to help us out with that. And now we're just really enthusiastic about getting this done in the best way possible. We just want to give you our support, and we want to honor you today. WBC champions fight with their life for these belts, and they go the extra mile in every aspect of their life, and they come from tough beginnings. I know you have come from tough beginnings. And we, on behalf of the WBC, the president and all the staff, they just said, we need to go and deliver this belt because he deserves it. So I'm going to pass it over to our director of WBC, Jose Suleiman.
Because the WBC is a non-profit organization, and it's devoted to the safety of the sport. You cannot take out the punch, of course, right? But we do everything outside of the ring and many things on the ring to make it a safer, to make it a more integral sport, to give dignity to ex-boxers that end up their careers and they fall into poverty. So my father really worked very hard for making an integral, making boxers integral and important parts of society. So it's very important for us to have to contribute in starting with the kids from amateur, right, to start understanding a better side of the sport.
Yeah.
So it's a very pleasure for us to give this belt.
Thank you very much.
Video, you can say something, Sheriff.
Well, thank you, I will, and I'm truly honored. Your name is synonymous with boxing. Thanks to your dad's effort in blazing the trail and you picking up, his foundation and being able to run with it. Thank you very much for this. I'm honored. I'll put it in a place of great respect. And I look at this and I kind of laugh to myself because I gave boxing a shot back in the late 70s and would do it as a workout, but would do it to get a little money on the side trying to pay for college as well. So to have the honor today to be able to receive this belt is surreal. So a sincere honor, and I very much thank you and your dad's memory for all that you did for boxing. And I can't think of a sport that is more pure and just, there's no tools. You go in there with your arms and your hands and your head, and you give it your best shot and a strategy, but it all comes down to work ethic. That you gotta work out, you gotta do it every single day, you can't rest on your laurels for a minute, and it teaches you a lot about life. That in boxing, it's clear to anybody that when you get knocked down, the champion gets back up. Everybody can get in and get knocked down, but the true champ gets up over and over again, and everybody gets knocked down. And that's a lesson for life, because in our life, we get knocked down in a variety of different ways, but we don't quit. We get back in the fight and we give it our best shot again. And so thank you for sharing the lesson that's so important to young people for the rest of their life, that comes from boxing, the most purest probably of all sports, that goes back to probably the beginning of man. So a sincere thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
Very much. Thank you.
This is no
Thank you.
chief.
This is also every champion gets one of these medals. So this one.
Not bad. Thank you very much.
And
This is one they get as well.
oh yeah, of course. It's after the fight, you've seen how
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
t-shirt on. This is the one.